Hello, my beautiful, beautiful narc free family. So, today I want to talk to you about exposing the narcissist. I'm going to give you my perspective on it, and I'm going to give you someone else's perspective on it. I'll explain this later, but so whenever a narcissist has done all this crazy making with you, and they have made you out to be a crazy person, and they have run this smear campaign on you, and all of this, you may be thinking that, you know, you're going to um, get back at them by exposing just how vile they are, okay? And in that present moment, it may seem like, the best thing to do, because obviously, if someone has done something bad to you and they have been used half truths, or omitted things in their story, or added things that were untrue altogether, of course you want to clear your name. Now, there is one place where you need to clear your name, and that's in legal matters, okay? Definitely use everything that you have to clear your name as it pertains to legal matters, okay? But with people that or that the narcissist knows, or people that they smear your name to in business and things like that, there's really no need. And let me explain why. Number one, the narcissist has been living in this kind of dysfunctional mess all their life. So they've been making up lies all their life. So they're very, very good at it. And you are trying to get free of their mess and their dysfunction. And when you go to try to tell people all of the horrific things they've done. Now, I'm not talking about your friends. Of course, if you have friends and family that love you, of course, tell them your truth. All right. And if you want to write a book about it, write a book about it. Of course, obviously, tell your truth. What I'm saying to you is, do it with the right heart. If your heart is in, I want to tell my story because I want to help some other people so they don't get abused, okay? That is, the narcissist is just being exposed as a byproduct of you telling your story. But if your goal is exposing the narcissist by saying, I'm going to go tell what a horrible, awful person they are, that I am saying no, stay away from it. Narcissists do not forgive, okay? And so when you go to expose them to people that they know and things like that, number one, they're going to make you out to be even crazier than they've already made you out to be, because now you're trying to talk to people and you're trying to tell people what they've done, and they've already painted you out to be a crazy person. I have seen this happen to people. Let me give you an example. I have a client who, was dealing with a person, and they were a narcissist, and the client got pregnant by the guy, and the guy who's a narcissist told everybody that no, he never dated her, they just had a little one night stand, okay? And I happen to know the person personally, okay? So whenever she was telling people that no, they were in a relationship, people had to say out loud to themselves, wait a minute, he said they had a one night stand, but I remember him driving her car. But see, the people can't wrap their head around it, because when they see someone standing in front of them and that person is an adult, they are lying to them. They cannot, cognitive dissonance, they cannot wrap their head around this kind of dysfunction. So you're asking people to think totally different, to now believe you after they've heard a grown person stand in their face and lie to them, and they just can't process it all. I mean, it took you a minute to process everything that was happening. When you woke up to the abuse, it took you a minute to understand that somebody would really do these sorts of things. Someone would really lie like this. It took you a minute to figure everything out. Well, imagine you trying to tell your story to someone with the sole purpose of you trying to spotlight the bad behavior of somebody who you thought was good at one point and who this person thinks is good. All right. So there's all kinds of things going on here that make all this confusing for everybody else who's listening to it. Now they got to figure out which one of y'all is crazy or both of you crazy. That's what they're trying to figure out. Okay. So when you step out of it, you don't give anybody any room to be looking at you any kind of way. And let me go back to that story. Well, when she had this baby, and then there was a DNA test done, and he needed to pay child support, and she could now prove that this was his child, then he started switching his story up. Because he initially was saying she was lying about the whole thing, okay? So then he had to start changing his story. But every time he changed his story, the people who were listening believed every story that he told. And that's why I'm saying to you, it is not worth your time and energy, because what it does is it keeps you in the cycle of abuse, and it gives the narcissist fuel. They love this. You are now on their stomping ground, in their territory with them. That's exactly where they want you to be. They absolutely expect for you to try to clear your name. And like I said, in court, it's very appropriate. Clear your name, do what you need to do. But think about all of the energy that it takes, all of the energy that you exert every time you have to tell this traumatic story of what happened to you. Even when you're talking to one of your friends who knows you, who knows that you're telling the truth, who has maybe seen some of this dysfunction because they know you and they know the narcissist, okay? You're telling them and you're getting traumatized and you're getting triggered. So imagine trying to tell this over and over again to people who don't probably care, number one, and who already have formulated their opinion, number two, and number three, cannot help you in any way. All right? But if you want to tell your story, it's okay to tell it. It's okay to write a book. It's okay to start a YouTube channel to tell your story. Just tell it with the right heart, or else you kind of no one can tell what the difference is. This person's bad mouthing you, you're bad mouthing them. So who's who? To make it very clear who's who, if you're helping people to get out of this, yeah, you end up having to say things that happen to you here or there in the process of trying to help people. But your sole goal is not, let me expose this narcissist. You have to understand that you're dealing with someone who's very warped and twisted. And if you have children with them, you still have to deal with them for many more years. And because they don't forgive, they're going to obsess over the ways that they can come after you and the ways that they can punish you. And so while you are trying to move forward, they're obsessing about how they can punish you further and better because you are exposing them. Okay? Now, trust me when I tell you, I have all of the paperwork to expose a narcissist. And I'm sharing this with you to let you know I am human just like you, and I wanted to expose the narcissist also. And because I had all of the proof and all of the paperwork to do it, I fully intended to do it. And I printed everything out in 10 pages of, it was a packet of 10 pages. And in it was, I did 10 packets. So that means I had to copy each page 10 times, put it on the table, another copy 10 times, 10 times, 10 times, okay? And I put a letter in there with it, with bullet points of everything. And here this was said, here's the truth. Here's this other piece of paperwork. I'm not talking to the people. This is something that I was going to mail off. And as I was printing off all of this information, I was being re-traumatized because I had to look at that paperwork and I had to revisit these horrid things that had happened. And it took me a week to print off this stuff. And it shouldn't have taken a week to do this, to go through these papers and to print it off. And as I was printing it off, I noticed that I was talking about it and I was getting frazzled and I was getting re-traumatized, okay? So here I am trying to expose the truth to people and I'm being affected, all right? So number one, if you're exposing them, this is what's going to happen, because you're getting pulled back into dysfunction, all right? And then as I typed the letter up to go along with it, and I went to print the letter, which was the last thing I needed to print. I mean, I bought the envelopes and everything. Like this was ready to go. And I had asked people that I was going to send the letter to. In the letter, it says, please do not share this information, as this will be, cause my children and I further trauma. Okay. Well, when I go to do the letter, now my printer starts acting up and it won't do the letter that goes along with it. And I'm knowing that I need to operate in wisdom here, because all of this stuff is happening for a reason and I need to trust my intuition. So I set up a meeting with Dr. Carmen Bryant and set up a counseling session, because I knew that something was wrong and I knew that this is probably something I shouldn't be doing, but I wanted to speak with someone else about it, someone who is familiar with this type of abuse, and get a second opinion on what I was doing. And I reached out to her and I had a little card, a bullet point, and I told her, this is what's happened, and boom, 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 because, you're on a time limit and I wanted to make sure I got out what had all happened and that I wanted to expose it. And what did she think? And she told me no. And she explained to me why. Now, I'm giving my own personal reasons why. If you want to know her reasons, you can reach out to her. But you need to use wisdom. Do I want my life to stay stuck there? Or do I want to keep moving in this capacity on this channel? And by the way, yes, I'm absolutely working on a book about what happened. But in that book, I am helping other people so they can survive it. My goal is not exposing him. There's so many people out there like him and there's so many other people exposing them that I really don't even have to do that. And so what I'm saying to you is choose wisely, because since I have children with a malignant narcissist, I don't want to, for the rest of my life, this person to be plotting against me. But do I want to go on with my life? Yes. Do I want to share my story? Yes, because I believe it will help some people. Because I believe that there's not enough awareness about narcissistic abuse, because I believe that more people need to be awake to it, because I want to get in front of judges, and I want to get in front of law enforcement and therapists who are dealing with children who do not understand this, who need to have a better grasp on that the person who is looking frazzled and traumatized probably is the person who is traumatized from the abuse. And the person who is looking cool, calm, and collected, who acts like everything's okay and they're laughing and skinning and grinning, is probably the abuser. Yes, they absolutely. A lot of people need to know that, and they don't. And I hope that a lot of people, I hope that all of the people who are out sharing on YouTube are doing what is in their heart to do, because YouTubers are sharing private parts of their life in efforts to help. So the moral to all of this is, if your heart is in helping other people, do whatever it is you need to do. Have the right heart, though. Don't go down there with the narcissist and get in their mud and in their muck and in their filth, because you can't beat them in your filth. In their filth. You can't beat them in their filth down there. But up here, where you are vibrating high and where you have goodness in you and where you want to see other people not be abused, or if they're being abused, you want to help them to get out, up here where there is no weight and no limits on the goodness that you can do. Yes, you can win and you can tell your story. Just tell it with the right heart. If I hope that makes sense to you, because otherwise you are going to disturb an already disturbed person and make them be morning, noon, and night. If you've been with a malignant narcissist, I don't have to tell you that they will come for you morning, noon, and night. So if you do things to them to aggravate their dysfunction, they are going to not sleep until they can try to dismantle you. So you're not coming from a place of weakness. I am absolutely not saying that you or I is weak at all. I am saying have a purpose to what you're doing that is greater than simply, I'm going to get back at this person for having lied on me. In some cases, you should be so grateful. I am so grateful to the narcissist for smearing my name, because in doing so, it separated people who didn't need to be in my circle of friends. It weeded out people who were not for me but were against me. And I hope that you can look at it once you're far enough out of it and see the same thing. Actually, a lot of the things that the narcissist does are helpful to you. When you awaken to the abuse and you can see the things in you that allowed this to happen, the things in you that you need to fix, that's helpful. The narcissist, when they come to destroy you. But if you don't become destroyed, then you become stronger. You become wiser. You become more fortified, and you're able to protect yourself. So in a lot of ways, a narcissist being in your life opens you up to becoming a greater person. So in being greater, think about your reasoning behind exposing the narcissist. Is it to help people so that they don't become abused, or is it tit for tat? They did this to me, they lied on me, they cheated on me, they made my life horrible, and now I'm going to do this to them, which is further going to be traumatic for you and further going to keep you actually tied to the narcissist. I don't want to be tied to the narcissist. I don't want to be tied. So I don't do things to him, period. I could care less what he does. But do I want other men and women out here to not know what's happening to them when I have experience in this and I could reach back and help people? I think that some of us, that is our calling. Some of us, what happened with the narcissist is what was supposed to happen to get us to here so that we could help other people. So go about doing good. Go about with the right heart. And if you have the right heart, then you're mature enough to do what you need to do. And I hope that this has been helpful to some of you. Thank you for joining me here at Narc Free. Bye bye, my beautiful Narc Free family. Mwah. I wish you well.